Welcome back for practice. We have a little tribe here for a couple more days. Figuring it out. You want to go in that basket? You can do that. So this week we've been working with the principle of upeksha, which means equanimity, upekshanam. So we say in the Yoga Sutra, there are 4 Brahma Viharas, 4 primary Brahma Viharas: Karuna, Mudita, Maitri, and upekshanam. And I was saying earlier this week that I think of equanimity as the most difficult of these Brahma Viharas, because it can feel a little bit like apathy or resignation. In fact, the near enemy of upekshanam is indifference, which is a kind of pretend, a sort of pseudo equanimity. You know, like when you meet someone who just seems to be always in this kind of evenness of relationship to everything. They don't get flustered. They don't have peaks or valleys. They don't have a very, very big sound wave. It's possible that what they're practicing isn't equanimity, but rather a kind of indifference. They aren't able to let themselves deeply care. And so that's not the same as equanimity. In equanimity, we actually do feel what is occurring. We may even feel the suffering of someone to whom we would also offer compassion. We may feel the appreciation for someone for whom we would practice appreciative joy. We may even feel the pain in someone that we were practicing loving kindness with. So we feel those things, and yet perhaps compassion, loving kindness, or appreciative joy haven't really helped our hearts to heal. And so we go to equanimity as an example. We also, I said this before, we can use equanimity for the 4th stage of things in human nature. So compassion is for those who are suffering and parts of ourselves that have been suffering. Appreciative joy is for those who have beneficial circumstances, or even happiness for our own goodness when that's occurring. And then loving kindness is for those who are causing harm or from whom we've experienced pain. And sometimes we can practice loving kindness towards the parts of us that are causing pain to ourselves or to others. And then the 4th, I sometimes say, is for that which can't be solved, that which we can't address with these other 3 Brahma Viharas, or that which we just can't get our minds around it. We can't seem to solve it. We don't have a workable strategy for it. And we practice equanimity that thing, that experience of human nature, that quandary exists. So that's why I think it's the most difficult. And I'm not saying that it's unattainable. It just, let's not take it too lightly and think of it as the easiest one. Oh, equanimity, right? It actually does have an action in it. And at the same time, it's comprised of the actionless action. Can I just rest in equanimity? Can I feel that possibility? So rest your hands in your lap, please. Are you doing it? I don't see you putting your hands in your lap. Okay, sit up straight and tall. That looks good. You're welcome to close your eyes. I don't see you closing them. I don't think my student is listening. Oh. Okay, let's lie down. Let's practice bathing. I'll just give the instructions for what you're actually doing. Okay, little one. You're going to hear some breathing soon, and that might send you away. Right. So please take your comfortable seat and rest your hands in your lap. And you are welcome to close your eyes. We could say close the eyes, open the heart. We are not practicing yoga to come to a place where we don't feel anything. We are practicing yoga so we actually can expand our capacity for feeling and sensing and being really being porous with life. Honey. Oh. Yeah. Let your breathing help you to settle in here. Turn the palms face up. May we experience a kind of porousness that we are not collapsing because of, we are not being sunk by, like a boat on the ocean. But can we be porous in our hearts, in our minds and our bodies? We do that from a place of evenness. Raise your hands to Anjali Mudra. And we'll chant the Gayatri mantra, respecting the earth, the sun, and the heavens, the incredible intelligence of the cosmos, and remembering that we are a part of this. Om Vasuva Tatsavitor Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayata. Om Vasuva Tatsavitor Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayata. Om Vasuva Tatsavitor Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayata. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. Exhale, you may bow your head to your heart. Release your hand. Interlace your fingers, please. Push the heels of the hands forward. Okay, so we're going to use this push forward, and then we're going to also use this gesture of pulling back into the heart. And we'll do it like cat and cow pose. So inhale, push forward, make that like a cat pose spine. And then exhale, pull in, raise your chest and your heart, open your throat. Inhale, push forward, broaden the back of the body like a parachute. Exhale, pull in. Inhale, once more, press forward. And exhale, draw in, raise your chest and your heart, open your throat. Now inhale, push down, forward and up. Exhale, bring your hands down behind your head so the pinkies are at the base of the skull and you're looking down. And then inhale, sweep the elbows forward and raise them up. Exhale, elbows wide, gaze down, press the base of your skull back. Inhale, level your head and then twist to your right. Bring the left elbow forward. Exhale to center, using a kind of Jalandhara bandha here. Inhale, gaze left. Bring your right elbow forward. Exhale, come to center. Inhale, press up and look up, please. And then exhale, push out. Reach back to interlace your fingers at the small of your back. And inhale, roll your chest and shoulders and heart open. And now exhale, simply squeeze the arms back, bring your chin in towards your throat. And then exhale, release your hands to your lap. Notice if you've sort of cleared any of the fog on the windshield of the mind. Now take both arms, palms face out, and inhale, raise up like you're gathering in. Exhale, side bend to your left. Place the left palm down. Open your right side waist. Inhale, raise up. Keep your right arm near to your right ear. Exhale, side bend to your right. Place the right palm down. Inhale, raise up. So your left arm stays near your ear and your right arm joins. And exhale, push out. Place your fingertips on the floor behind you. Inhale, raise up through your chest and your heart. Exhale, only the chin comes towards the throat. And then once more, inhale, raise up like you're gathering in. And exhale, come down into the heart. And imagine yourself as someone who can feel with great porousness the wholeness, the entirety of life, but without being collapsed by it. Bringing awareness to the second and the third chakras. We're going to practice Bastrika. I'm looking down to see if they're going to get disturbed. We'll find out. So Bastrika is an exhale strongly expelled through the mouth a bit rapidly. And then we'll have inhale, suspend, and then we'll have exhale to release. Okay, let's begin. Now, inhale up to suspension. And release completely and slowly. Of course, in your own timing. You may have released sooner than I did. You may still be suspending. Kapalabhati through the nose. Exhale completely. Inhale up to suspension. Exhale smoothly and completely. Of course, you may already have exhaled. You may still be in your suspension. Bringing awareness to the first third, middle third, upper third. We were practicing last weekend and earlier this week, really opening the upper third of the breath, and I'd like to continue with that. So you have to pace yourself so that you haven't completed your inhale by the time you get to the second third of the breath. Take the arms out to the side, please. Let's inhale the first third and then pause. Second. Upper. Exhale, release the arms down, even though the exhale is going from the base upwards. Palms face out. Inhale, first third. Second. Upper. Exhale. More. To kneeling. Bhadrasana. See, little ones. Take my foot back, please. Okay, great. So please come to kneeling. Now, in a kneeling position, we're going to be doing the three-part exhale. So you can focus on the first third of the exhale. I like to say it's about the width of 4 fingers. So going to be there. The next, cultivate this relationship to how the inner abdomen can support the exhale, because it's a part of uddiyana bandha to really get this clear. Okay, so we're going to inhale one smooth continuous inhale and then exhale in thirds. Let's put the palms face down. You're beginning with your inhale. Exhale first third. Pause. middle. Pause. Inhale smoothly. Three-part exhale. More, then smoothly inhale. Deeply relax. So that was three-part exhale. Now relax and notice the influence in your mind and your body. We're going to be using a practice from last week where we inhale high up on the knees and the arms go up. You are opening the upper chest at the top of the inhale. On the exhale, we come down into child's pose. Your hands will go to the small of your back and you're going to turn your head to one side. And then we'll be going back up. Now, it just so happens that precisely where my head is supposed to go, there is a warm, fuzzy little creature. So you can put something on the floor for your head to have support, or you can rest on your kitten. Okay, so beginning here with the inhale, raise up. And then exhale, and you're squeezing the breath out, but not in any particular hurry. Turn your head to your right. And inhale, rise up and look up. Exhale, we're coming down. Turn your head to your left. Inhale, rise up, looking up. And exhale, coming down once more in each direction. So we're squeezing out the breath, squeezing out the residue. And when you inhale, raising up, lift into a sense of vitality and capacity. And as you exhale, then come down once more and squeeze the breath out. Last one, rise up. And come down to Yogi Mudra and Vajrasana. Rest your hands in your lap. And could you imagine yourself in that kind of porousness that equanimity includes, but you're not capsized by what you're sensing or feeling in the world. Om Bhagavata Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimari Yo Yona Prachodaya. Let's set up for surya namaskar. Please come up to standing. Move things that might be in your way. That would mean kittens might have to get moved. I'm going to recommend that you do have 2 blocks for this morning. We're going to pick up a couple of the practices from Tuesday. We'll see what happens here for this little one. Okay, standing at the top of your mat, please join your hands together at your heart. Okay, energize the legs, and let's think of it going slowly enough that when we inhale, you do sense the first third, the middle third, the upper third of the breath. When you exhale, I want you to sense, we're not actually interrupting the breath now, but I do want you to sense first third, middle third, upper third of the exhale. Okay, let's begin. Exhale and sit into chair pose. Now rise up first, middle and upper thirds of the breath. And then exhale, bowing forward. Inhale, glide forward. Exhale, step backward with your left foot. Inhale, rising up. And then exhale, notice the first, middle, and upper thirds of the breath. Pivot your left inner heel to the floor. Inhale, reach upwards from the base, and then middle, and then upper part of the breath. Exhale, airplane pose. So we're going to squeeze the breath out by coming down. Inhale, rise up. Root your back inner heel, your front foot, all 10 toes. And exhale, airplane pose. Keep the back waist really broad, so we're not just hinging at the top of the sacrum. One more time, inhale, rise up. Root both legs and focus on the breath first, middle and upper. And this time, exhale, make a big circle of the arms as you come over. Place your hands on your blocks. And then keeping the back heel grounded, energize both legs. Exhale, pick up your right foot. Inhale, step back to plank. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, step through to seal pose. And inhale, light it up. Exhale, plank pose. And inhale, downward facing dog pose. Okay, exhale, left foot forward, keeping the back heel lifted to start. We're going to inhale, rise up first, middle and upper third. And then exhale as you root the right inner heel to the floor. Notice the exhale breath moving up the front of the abdomen. Inhale, airplane pose. I'm sorry, that shouldn't be your inhale. Inhale, rise up. My little kitten is still under my pose. I'm a tiny bit distracted. Okay, and then exhale, airplane pose. So this is the exhale, we're squeezing the breath out. Inhale, rise, root into your left heel. Lift the pubic bone, lift the breath up to the heart. And now exhale, airplane pose, and we're going to come down and place the hands on the two blocks. Keep your back heel rooted for right now. And then exhale, pick up your front foot. Inhale to plank, lift your back heel, place your left foot. Exhale, downward dog pose. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, seal pose. Inhale in seal pose. And exhale, plank. Inhale, downward facing dog pose. And exhale, step forward, awkward foot first, second foot. And noticing the first, middle, and upper thirds of the breath. Inhale, rise, upward hands pose. And exhale, hands to the heart. Now that you can't see it, I don't know if you can see what this is right here. This is a kitten. Okay, all right, there you go. It's right where the knees go for seal pose. So we're not going to do Anjaneyasana this morning until potentially this spot is clear. But let's take the next step with humble warrior pose. So inhale, first, middle, upper. Exhale, chair pose. Remember, you're practicing to become a person who is porous, who can feel, but who is not capsized by. So keeping the breath smooth is one way that you really practice having a sense of this inner center, an inner place of stability, a connection to that which is larger than our individual capacity to feel everything that's happening. So exhale, take your left toes straight back. Okay, crescent lunge again, please. We'll inhale, rise up. And then exhale, pivot your back heel, Virabhadrasana 1. Now this time, sweep the arms wide and reach back to clasp your hands at the small of your back. Let's roll the shoulders back. Aim your hips forward to the best of your ability. And inhale, raise up first, middle, and upper thirds of the breath. And then exhale, bow over the space between your right inner thigh and the block on your left. Inhale, rise up. That means root into both heels, roll the tailbone down, roll the sacrum into position, and then build the spine up from there. Look up. Exhale, coming forward. Once more, inhale, rising up. And exhale, bowing forward. Now this time as you bow forward, go ahead and stay a few moments. Keep the right outer hip steady. Relax the weight of your head, energize your arms. And then place your hands inside your right foot. Let's put both blocks there. So place the right block and the left so your hands will be ready for plank pose. And pick up your left heel. Pick up your right foot. And then inhale, step back to plank. And exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, inhale forward to plank. So that little adjustment we did with the blocks moved me over on my mat. So let's exhale and come to seal. My knees get to touch the floor this time. Inhale, look up. Exhale, plank. First, middle, upper thirds of the exhale. Inhale, downward facing dog. Exhale, left foot forward. Inhale to rise. Exhale, Virabhadrasana 1 with your back heel. Okay, sweep the arms down. Reach back to interlace your fingers. Roll the shoulders back. Raise your heart up. And exhale, humble warrior pose. This is a variation on the pose, and people have different names for different things. When you inhale, rise up, using your pelvis as the fulcrum, not the top of the sacrum or the lower lumbar spine. Exhale, forward. Keep both legs really steady. The back leg also matters here. One more time, coming down. Now this time as you come down, keep the left outer hip stable, sweep the arms up towards the ceiling. And then when you're ready to, you're going to place the hands inside your left ankle. Place the 2 blocks for plank pose. Pivot your right heel up. Pick up the left foot. And then step back to plank pose. And inhale, reach back, downward facing dog pose. Okay, exhale, let's glide forward and come into seal pose. Inhale, light it up. Exhale, plank. Inhale, downward facing dog pose. And then exhale, awkward foot forward, second foot forward. And inhale, rise up. And then exhale, hands to the heart. Come into mountain pose. Listen for the center of your plumb line. If I can face you a little bit forward, or maybe a little bit diagonal. Let's see. Let's try this. I mean, I could try to move you. You're not terribly in my way, but only a little bit. So let's put the right foot forward between the 2 blocks, please. There are 2 blocks there on my mat. And step the left foot back. So we were doing this sort of humble warrior position. I'd like you to come down again and place your hands on the 2 blocks at first. And then walk your hands forward of there and see if you can start sliding the torso down along the inside edge of your right thigh. Now, as you do this, as the torso comes down to the inside of the right thigh, you might find that it's comfortable to put both blocks on the floor inside your right ankle, and perhaps you'll touch your elbows down to the blocks. For some, it's comfortable to put the right hand behind the right ankle and put a little bit of, let's say, curious leverage into curling the right shoulder under the right knee or under the right thigh. For some, it's going to be more comfortable to stay where you are or to back off of the pose, but there will be some people in the class who can take the right arm under, bend the right elbow and reach the hand. It'll go around the lower back. And since my recent surgery, that's not a pose that I'm doing just yet, but you can explore it where you've got the right arm wrapped around the outer right thigh and your right hand on the small of your back. We're going to release the two hands to the blocks inside the right ankle. And you can place those blocks at the ready for plank pose. And then step your right toes first up so that your knee is braced on your right arm. And then step back to plank pose. Great, touch the knees down. Move your blocks so they're going to be ready for your left foot to step forward. Take the right toes back and come down to the inside of your left thigh. So what you may be doing first is walking the hands forward and bow your head towards the floor. We're going to aim here for the left hip not to sashay out to the left, but to stay flush. So if there were a line from your left outer foot to your right heel, we wouldn't want the left hip wandering off to the left past that. And then some of you are going to find that you could put your elbows comfortably on your blocks on the inside of your left ankle. Relax the weight of your head. And some will find that the left hand can go to the back of the left ankle and apply a little bit of leverage or curiosity. There's the possibility of sliding your left shoulder under the back of your left leg. And you could reach the left arm around the outer thigh. And for those who are able to, you could clasp your hands at the small of your back. We may all be noticing at some level that the deep low belly has to be in quite a bit of flexion for this kind of practice. And there's also compression on the left hip. It's temporary, but it's also purposeful. And then let's release and place both hands on the blocks where they would be suited for plank pose. Pick up your left foot so the knee is hovering to the outside of your left elbow. And then step back to plank. And then downward facing dog pose. Roll your knees down to the floor. Let's take one block to sit on and come into Vajrasana. You can put the block flat or medium, whatever your personal preference is going to be. Did you want to put your left arm under your left leg? Yeah, maybe. Possibly. You want to clasp your paws behind your back? No? You okay. So upright now, and we've had that compression to the hip. We're going to place the crown of the head on the floor and do it's sometimes called Yogi Mudra. I'm going to turn so my kitty is not in my way. So if you'll clasp the hand at the small of your back, please, and interlace the fingers. Let's try changing the interlace by one digit when you do that. You roll the shoulders back. Inhale first, going up. Exhale, raise the heart, come forward, close the chest to the thighs. Inhale, top of the head to the floor. Exhale, lower your hips towards your block. Squeeze the breath out. Inhale, roll up into the back bend. Exhale, glide forward. You are going to squeeze the breath out. Rest your forehead on the floor, and then inhale, roll to the top of your head. And once more, exhale, roll your hips down, squeeze the breath out, and then inhale, rise up to your back bend. And exhale, hands to your thighs. I'd like you to bring a chair onto your yoga mat, please. And at the moment, you won't need blocks, but you will want to put a blanket on the seat of the chair. Let's see how my little kitten does with that. Can I put this here? Is it going to be all right? Goodness. Who is disrupting your morning? How can it be? Let's pad the chair like this, and then come to kneeling in front of your chair, facing away from your chair. You okay there? Yeah, you're gonna be all right. I'm not sitting on you. No. I'm sitting to the side. Yeah, I'm right here. Okay, interlace your fingers and take the arms up over the seat of the chair. Now, for some of us, I'm quite flexible in my shoulders. I have the limberness for this. But for some of you, it's going to feel like the chair is too tall, in which case, sit up on a couple of blocks. So sit up, and then that makes you taller in relationship to the chair. Roll the shoulders back, lift your heart up. You can think of your shoulder stand position or your bridge pose. This is partly what we're doing in those positions. So let's bring the chin down towards the throat. And try to raise the upper third of the breath up into the heart. And notice the lower part of the breath, first, middle, and upper aspects of the exhale. Lower over your thighs. Touch your forehead to the floor. Watch out for your kitten. Roll to the crown of your skull. Press the top of the head down. Raise the arms up. And then exhale your hips back to your heels, your hands up and over the seat of the chair. Release. And when the arms come down now, when your hands are resting on your lap, you're likely to notice quite a bit of warmth coming down the arms. Okay, now let's have a little adventure. You're going to need 2 blankets on the floor in front of your chair. My kittens have all moved, so I have the full space here in the center. Okay, so 2 blankets, and you're going to place them so that they are near the edge of the chair. You know, this is something that we were doing it over the summer, and unfortunately we're not in person, so it's hard for you to grasp the whole thing just by seeing it visually. I know that some of you are very experienced with this. We're going backwards off of the chair. So we're going to sit up here. We're going to roll backwards. The shoulders should end up on two very stable spots here on your blanket. So this, how you stack this is important. And having that be firm is also important. So take a seat on your chair facing backwards in your chair, like almost like it's a bar stool. I mean, I don't know if people sit on bar stools like this. I'm not the person to be asking that question of. But when you come up over the chair, you have your knees over the upper back of the chair. Your hips do go towards the opening of the chair at first, but then when you're sliding yourself off the chair, you're going to place the shoulders, set your hair clip aside, place your shoulders on the blankets. And because we slide down backwards, we actually have most of the weight is still on the chair at the moment. So in sliding down, you check and see, okay, that's where the shoulders go. Then you can hold the legs of the chair with your elbows bent. There are some of you in this class who could hold the next leg of the chair with your arms straight, but I cannot demonstrate that for you. I can't reach that far back. So elbows bent for those who are doing it as I'm doing, and you make the arms firm. And then the legs go up and the sacrum is supported by the front edge of the chair. And yes, the edge of the chair is metal and you have bones. So sometimes where you end up specifically on the chair is not comfortable, in which case we want to change the height of the blankets, could be higher, or you want to pad the front of the chair, or you can wear more padding for your yoga clothing. So when you slide off the chair, you've got a good sense of padding between your lower back and the edge of the chair. Let's bring the chin towards the throat and your gaze towards your heart. And we really want to imagine that the practice is helping us to become more porous, but not more capsizable, not more collapsable. Porous so we can feel the ocean of life, but we have an inner place of steadiness, or what yoga calls stitau, a stable sense of tranquility. And for those who are very experienced and you feel an inclination to do so, you can take the legs slowly overhead. You'll come down to plough pose. The shoulders remain strong and the chest and heart are lifted. If you chose to come down to plough pose, you can also choose to raise one leg up. It's called ekapada, Sarvangasana. And you could choose to raise both legs up. may touch the hips back to the chair without crashing. Return to supported shoulder stand. And then for everyone, in terms of dismounting from this position, you first bend the knees and place your feet on the very top of the chair. Then the feet go to the seat of the chair. I know some of you have longer legs than I do, so placing your feet on the seat of the chair is a tight squeeze. Place your hands then past your head on the floor. Lift your head and shoulders slightly without pulling your hair. And then come down from the chair so that your hips are resting on the two blankets. Give a little push to the very top of the chair so that you kick the top of the chair back and the seat of the chair raises up to support your knees. And then the arms can go out to the side. You're welcome to close your eyes. Rest your gaze within. In the process of a practice where there's an inversion, everything is always optional, of course, in class. But when we do have inversion practices, there's a very powerful thing that occurs in the inner body and in the brain, in the chakras and in the vayus. So see if you can kind of bask in the echo of that practice right now. Imagine yourself again as someone who's becoming both more porous and also more stable. Yourself to rest in the inner sanctuary. yourself to rest a little more deeply now. The mind won't pull you away. You rest in the present moment, not needing things to be different, and knowing that they won't stay the same. Allow that process to go yet again a little more deeply, like you're soaking it in, like how a sponge would soak in water. Now, as you stay connected to the body, begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Notice the breath coming and going. Slide your knees towards your chest. With your hips on the blanket, it means that your hips are elevated, so the knees can drop towards the chest with the support of gravity. You also can add your hands to that. Please roll to your side. And rise up to your seat. Find your place where you can have your meditation seat. When we come to the meditation seat this morning, we're going to practice uddiyana bandha from sitting, but we're not going to do it right away. We're going to let the reacclimation happen. So you're now sitting. It's a little bit bigger now. You're resting your hands out over your knees, come into your seat. See what it's like to be upright, having been inverted for quite some time. The shavasana was an inversion and the shoulder stand was an inversion. Connecting to the breath, we're just going to do this for 2 or maybe 3 times. It's based on your experience level. You inhale smoothly, lower, middle, upper. You want to feel the wave of the inhale. Then you're going to exhale completely from the base here. And we practice 1 uddiyana bandha. During that bandha, I want you to draw the low belly in and up. So there's a sense of that pretend inhale making the same kind of wave in the body that the real inhale makes. Let's try that together. So breathing in. Breathing out. Holding the breath out, uddiyana bandha. Release the bandha. Inhale smoothly. Relax. And repeating. So inhale, lower, middle, upper, big cascade of the breath up into the heart. Exhale from the base of the belly upwards, first, middle, and upper thirds of the exhale. Holding the breath out, uddiyana bandha. Release the bandha. Inhale. Deeply relax. The quiet, the silence behind thought. quiet. It becomes something so familiar to you. You are arriving back home. Raise your hands to your heart. Sharing your practice this morning. Thank you, everyone. Namaste.